Have you ever had that sinking feeling where time seems to slow down and you realize you've made a huge mistake, but there's no way to stop it? Well, this is me in that exact moment. And this is the story of how this tree turned a fun hike into a travel vlogger's worst nightmare. If you're new here, I'm Jake, aka Hansen Shan, and in the winter school holidays of January 2024, I set off on a solo trip across southern China, making my way from Xiamen all the way to Yunnan province. One of the main reasons for doing this is I think China has some of the most unique and diverse landscapes on this planet, and I absolutely love heading out to remote places and seeing what beautiful shots I can capture with my trusty drone. For the first leg of the journey, I stopped to visit some friends in a small town called Yangshuo, which is in Guangxi province. This region is famous across China, not only for its beautiful scenery, but also for being a bit of a hiking paradise among off-the-beaten-path travellers. Everywhere you look, these beautiful karst mountains rise quite dramatically up from the ground, which are not only cool to look at, but also carry a deep cultural significance for the locals in the area. So much so that they're even featured on the 20 RMB note. The weather in Yangshuo varies quite a lot from season to season, and in winter you're typically looking at highs of around 15 degrees. But unfortunately, the first couple of days we were there, the temperature barely stayed above zero, and it rained non-stop. So we mainly just stayed inside and found local foods to keep ourselves warm. Youcha. There's like a strong kind of, I don't know, earthy or oily smell. Wow. Okay. That's not what I was expecting at all. That is a unique flavor. 桂花糕，这是阳朔的特色啊。Okay. 谢谢。It tastes quite good. It definitely has like a flowery taste to it, like as in the smell of flowers. Osmanthus specifically, hence the name. Whoa. Beer keeps you warm, right? We'll go with that. By the third day, the weather had cleared up a little bit and we were all itching for a bit of adventure. So some locals suggested that we go hike a mountain called Damian, which is located about 30 kilometers north of Yangshuo. So we rented some scooters and we hit the road. Hello. This was my very first time riding a scooter in China, so I was pretty excited. But it didn't take long to hit our first challenge of the day. Let's just say I completely underestimated how cold it would get with the wind chill. It might look like I'm having fun, but in reality, my hands were about to fall off from frostbite. So only 20 minutes into the ride, we were forced to stop off at a tea farm to see if we could find a way to bring my hands back to life again. Wow, 这个很漂亮.
I'm loving this scooter.
Oh, so good.
How's everybody feeling?
A little bit cold,
Very cold.
but very happy. 你好，你好。
你们都说中文吗？
就我们两个。
哦，那我说英文可以吗？
可以。
可以，但是也可以说中文，我们也可以翻译。
就是
英文我们
大家都知道。
都知道。
你们是法国人？
我是澳大利亚人，他们都是德国人。你是阳朔人吗？
对呀。
长大，出生。
我在这里长大的。
这是这个茶。拜茶。
So our tea farm was set up 23 years. We never give you fertilizer and so 100% organic. So usually we drink the white tea in the morning. The white tea is good for soften the blood vessel. It's good for beauty.
Get ready to get beautiful. 你们前几天有下雪吗？
有，还有雪还没融化。
还有吗？
那些山上那些白的。
There is some snow over there.
沟槽那些。
在越南，平时在越南不是很热吗？现在也是下雪。
越南也有下雪。
越南，真的。
海南都有下雪，我听。
海南也有。
海南。
真的。
好喝。
Oder ich nehme es dann so wieder mit nach Deutschland.
会说德语吗？
不会，我只会说一句。
一句吗？
一起 drinking tea.
Ich trinke Tee.
Ich trinke Tee.
Ich trinken
trinken
Bier.
Bier? Pijo.
Guten Morgen. Guten Abend.
哪个？一句话你说。
对，说的很好啊。
When we went to Wuishan, which is like a mountain region where they grow a lot of tea, I was there with some people when we were, our teacher, our Tingling teacher, his suppliers. We went to their tea shop, and so he told them, take care of them, like give them a lot of tea, you know, as much tea as they want. And so we sat there, and we were too polite to tell her to stop making us tea. And she wanted to impress us by giving us more tea. So we just sat there for like 4 hours drinking tea. And we got, yeah, caffeine shock. Yeah, we got, it's called cha cui. Cha cui.
插嘴
Cha cui.
插嘴 means
Tea drunk.
Too much caffeine.
Too
不
much.
是叫醉茶。
哦，醉茶吗？
啊，对，
醉茶。
我还以为你说插嘴就是
水吗？
哦，嘴吗？
嘴
哦
嘴醉，那是醉
哦
茶。
哦，醉第四型啊。
Crazy. 1, 2, 3.
Fantastic. Unseasonably cold in Yangshuo. In fact, so unseasonably cold that you can see snow. See that white? That's snow. Ladies and gentlemen. Crazy. Lena, what are these called?
脆蜜。
Cui mi.
脆蜜
Cui mi. So you can eat the skin. It's really sweet in the middle. 很好吃，真的很好吃。脆蜜。So, after some help fixing my Mandarin pronunciation and finally getting some feeling back into our hands, it was time to head back out into the cold and hit the road again. This is so cool. Just been traveling along these like awesome winding roads. We've got about 500 meters to go. Can't wait to get the drone up in the air. So if you guys couldn't tell already, I'm a bit obsessed with my little DJI Mini 2. My dad actually gave me this drone as a gift to nudge me along in this slightly wild idea of becoming a travel YouTuber. Our first journey together was a 4-month road trip around Australia, and at first I was pretty nervous to use it. I had literally zero experience flying anything other than paper planes, but one day on a beach in Margaret River, Western Australia, I finally worked up the courage to take it for its first flight. I still remember sitting in the car afterwards, watching the footage back like I'd just unlocked some secret level in a video game. It felt like I'd discovered a whole new way to see the world, and from that point on, I flew the little thing every chance I got for the rest of the trip. After 4 months, I was back home in Melbourne, feeling a little down that the adventure had come to an end. But instead of settling back into routine, I decided to go all in on this little midlife crisis of mine. I quit my job and my drone and I hopped on a plane to China to keep chasing the pipe dream. Now, if you're wondering why China, well, I made a whole video about that, so I won't go into it now. If you're interested, link in the description. Back in Yangshuo, we had finally arrived at our destination. This is the entrance point to hike Damian Mountain, which is this big thing. It's a shorter hike at about 3 kilometers and 300 meters elevation. And the entrance fee to get in is 20 yuan. We were a little bit surprised that they had an entrance fee for a small hike out here in the middle of nowhere. But the locals charged this because they recently put a lot of work into refurbishing the trail to make it safer for hiking. So we were happy to pay it. Hot tip though, they grow a lot of fruit around here. And if you ask nicely, the lady at the entrance will give hikers free samples and teach you a bit about the unique fruits that they grow in the area.
This is a pomelo, or 柚子. Wow. 哦，
我告诉你怎么吃。这里有一小片小片的啊。要把它找到这个，它这有缝隙的吗？看到没有？这些啊。
明白。
沿着这个缝隙，这样一片片的掰下来，然后这样离开吃。
哦。
这个籽粒不吃。
不吃吗？
对，籽粒不吃。
很大很大。
对。然后就这样吃。
可以啊。Wow, it's actually really tough. Really tough.
好硬啊！
对。
它这个籽粒可以做药材的。
Not balsa wood, but just
可以用什么？
做药材。
药材是什么？
对，中药。
哦。
对，这个也是其中一个中药材的另一个药材。
你需要那个。
对，它要配其他的药嘛。这个可以做菜。
真的？
也可以做糖。
糖嘛。
对，柚子糖嘛。然后做菜的话，中国不是有18酿吗？这个是其中一酿，就把这个这样削了。
这样，然后放肉
啊，削了以后。就把这个黄色的削了，要这个白色的，用水来煮一下，很好吃的这个。
听起来很好吃。
对，
有意思。非常感谢你。
不用谢。
谢谢老师。
So, after stocking up on fruit, we hit the trail. Now, the locals had said the views from the summit were pretty spectacular. So I was super eager to get up close and personal with nature again.
Say hi.
Little did I know though, it wouldn't be long before my drone and I would get a lot closer to nature than I bargained for.
Oh my god! That's fucking beautiful.
That looks magical.
Today had been an incredible day. We'd pushed through the cold, connected with some locals, and wrapped up with this stunning hike to this amazing spot. And I thought, alright, time for one final drone shot to top it all off. I lined up the drone, visualizing this perfect low flyover of the group of us up on top of the mountain. In my mind, this was gonna be the shot, the one that everyone remembers. And well, memorable it turned out to be, just not in the way I'd planned. Yep. Crashed my drone into a tree. My first ever drone crash. Watching this back, I still remember exactly what I was feeling. I was just helplessly watching on the controller as it was spiraling down the other side of the mountain, just getting closer and closer towards the ground. Until after about 30 seconds or so, the screen went completely black. There's one thing going through my mind at that point, and it was, fuck. I've lost my drone. This drone that's been with me from the start of my journey, the one my dad had given me to start this unconventional YouTube journey of mine, it was gone. I remember walking out to this viewing platform there. I had a mix of emotions at that point. I remember feeling embarrassed. I've got this group of friends watching me. I've talked it all up on the way there. I've got this cool drone that I'm going to take these cool shots with. You just watch. And then end up, bang, into a tree. How embarrassing. I remember feeling angry. I remember feeling angry at the tree. It's like, fucking tree came out of nowhere. What's that doing there? I remember being angry at the weather. It was so cold. I remember just being like, how was I meant to control this thing? My hands were like froze. It was so difficult to control the drone, you know? And then I remember thinking, you know what? I'm actually just angry at myself. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that before, but it's got to be one of the worst feelings when there's absolutely no one to blame but yourself, you know? I decided to fly my drone in this cold weather. I decided to come in for one of these absolutely risky, stupid low flyover shots, and look what happened. After sulking for a few minutes, I walked back over, picked up the controller, still black. We started packing up our gear. We were just gonna hike back down the mountain. I figured, oh, I'm just gonna have to buy a new one, even though this little one meant so much to me. But then, like something out of a cheesy movie or something, the screen came back to life. This lady's voice was yelling at me. She was like,
critically low battery.
Returning to home, critical battery. I could see it on the screen. I was pushing up on the controller. I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually coming back. All my friends started gathering around me. We're all just looking at the screen, just going, come on, little guy, come on. You can do it. Until finally it crash landed at my feet in a bush. I could not believe it. My trusty little drone had made its way back to me. The drone looked like it was in pretty bad shape. The gimbal was hanging out of the body of the drone, and I wasn't sure how much it was going to cost to get fixed. But luckily, in China, they are very, very cost efficient to do drone repairs, apparently. I found a DJI store not long after, and they repaired it for 125 yuan.
It's like getting a new little toy. She's all better.
So yeah, crashing my drone, it sucked in the moment. But if I've learned anything from this experience, it's that travel, like life in general, never really goes smooth sailing, does it? You're always going to have shit times, and it often seems like it's just too much to bear. But in hindsight, it actually made quite a good story and turned out to be one of the most memorable moments of the trip. So I think it's important to just maintain some perspective, realize you can't have the good without the bad, and it's all part of the journey in the end. If you made it to the end of this video, then thank you. If you want to see another video where I encounter some hardships in rural China, then you can watch this video right here. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one, guys.